Today's episode is brought to you by the NBA Store. A new year brings the start of a new NBA season. Suit up with the latest gear to show your support for your team. We may be sidelined from going to the arena, but that doesn't mean you can't watch basketball from your couch in style.
We're partnering up with the NBA and Podgo to bring our listeners up to 75% off select items. Yes, you heard me correctly. Go to Podgo, that's podgo.co/NBA for up to 75% off select items from the NBA store. The NBA, where amazing happens.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 254. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG4Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. I think I've got some big news. Robinson.
What's going on, man?
So it's January right now, Dan, right? You know, we're kind of in the middle of it. We're almost in February right now. The one of the best, I'm going to go ahead and say top 3 gaming holidays, right? Christmas 2 is coming up pretty soon, and a lot of the big games that couldn't make it out for Christmas are going to be coming out pretty soon. So I just got to say I'm super hype for what's on the roadmap for the games that are coming up, right? We got some stuff a little later in the show. I think that we're probably going to get into that. I'm super hyped for. So I'm just saying, like 2021, we had a couple of hiccups early on. I'm not going to get into that, but I think it's going to be a good year for gaming. So I'm ready. I'm ready for what 2021 is going to bring us. So I'm pretty hyped. But honestly,
how was your weekend, man? Let's go. You hyped? Well, how was the weekend? It's cold as balls outside.
It is very much winter. Yes, it is very much winter. Mm-hmm. The good news is I have not busted out the actual winter coat. I've been using the limited run hoodie, limitedrungames.com. They have great apparel. That's not a sponsored deal, but they make good stuff. I've been rocking my limited run hoodie a lot. All right, my hoodie game is getting a lot of good use. So it is definitely cold. It is very cold outside. I'm rocking the PlayStation hat, so you'll be very happy about that. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good for a little while, and now it's just like in the 20s up here. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But I'm making do. I'm making do. Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying, I've been kind of crushing through the backlog because it's a little bit of the slow period, right? Before the big next like gaming thing comes.
I know, but you got a big find this weekend, right? You put it on Instagram. You found something that you've been looking for a long time.
I did. I was gonna save it for the pickup portion, but I did get the Mario Kart. I think it's Mario Kart little kart racing setup thing, right? The augmented reality type situation. So it's good. It's good. I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but it's pretty fun. I would
But you don't have
recommend.
You don't have any room. You have room to
Yes, I do. I have tons of room, Dan. I have tons of room.
You got tons of stuff. You got tons of stuff all around.
Yeah, exactly. So
you have room to play it.
It pretty much makes the course for you, right? You just need to have enough room for your cart, for your Mario Kart, right? The actual cart thing to be able to get through. That's all. All right? You get these 4 gates. You set the gates up, and then in the app you kind of like you make the track, right? You kind of roll your finger from gate to gate. And you can go X amount of distance. I think I haven't actually done the gate thing yet, but I've seen some videos of it. So yeah, I mean, you could set it up, Dan. You don't need a lot of room. You just need enough room for your cart to get through.
Now the question is,
and enough room to put the gates up.
Is your cat chasing your Mario Kart?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. He's batting at Mario's head like crazy. So
is he ruining your races?
I haven't really done a race yet, so again, like I just got it, so I haven't really.
The race would be the cart getting away from the cat.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be the real race.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sad that it only comes with one cart. So if you want to do like head-to-head play, you legit have to get a separate like Luigi cart or whatever.
Well, the cart's the thing you're really paying for.
Yeah, and it's
plastic
substantial.
Toy.
It's big. The cart is big.
Well, I seen it at the Nintendo store a couple of months ago. Yeah. It's smaller than I thought it was.
Really? No, it's a lot bigger than I thought.
No, it's smaller than I thought it was. I thought it was like massive the way they show it online.
It's pretty big. I don't know. When I got it home, I was like, oh, okay. It's definitely not like Matchbox sized.
No. Yeah. I just thought. I mean, it looked massive on the commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I seen it, I was like, oh, it's like, like sort of the size of my hat. Like it's maybe a little bit bigger than my hat. I thought it was like massive. I thought it was like bigger than that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. No, it's wild because you can like see you can see your whole. You can see what the cart is looking at, right? Because that's the whole thing. There's the camera there to pick up and send the data back and whatnot, right? Pick up on the gates and how to like draw out the track because it's really, really all about the position of the cart. But it's just wild to see like on your Switch your apartment or house, all right? It's just like there it is. But anyway, Anyway, so you got some news, Dan, right? I don't want to overshadow your pickup.
No. Listen. That right there can't be overshadowed because you've been talking about this for a while. You really wanted it.
Well, now you can get it. Right? It's out there. It's out there.
I didn't know you really wanted it because when I went to the Nintendo store, I was like, they got a bunch of them sold out.
I told you I wanted it.
I know. You told me after I left the Nintendo store. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know about that.
Yes. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I know you don't want it. I know you don't.
I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up if it goes down in price one day. I don't want to spend $100 on something that I'm not even going to use. It's just gonna have it on the shelf.
So I'm glad you brought that up. As the owner of multiple pieces of Labo cardboard that you have never opened, you refuse to get the Mario Kart thing, which granted you probably wouldn't use, right? I get that. But how is the Labo stuff any different, right? It's the same kind of thing.
Oh, okay, all right. It's different. It's different in this way. One, I will say, it's the most expensive cardboard I'll ever buy in my life.
Exactly.
It's just like the Ring Fit Adventure is the most expensive rubber I ever bought in my life.
Sure, but at least you're using that, right? You're getting some use out of it.
I bought a lot of rubbers in my life. But this is the most expensive one.
Welcome to Rated G Nights, folks. Dr. Love is in the house. No.
Yeah, but the Labo kits didn't cost $100. It cost nowhere near $100. I spent like $30 on it tops.
One of those kits is legit $80.
Yeah, and one of those kits that's legit $80, I didn't buy.
But you bought the $30 ones, which are just sitting on the shelf. Multiple $30.
I brought two.
Okay, so that's $60. That's more than half of the Mario Kart system.
No, it's $60. So four. Well, plus tax, 4. I can get 4 Labo kits for the price of one.
And never use them.
One card. And never
That's
use
the point
them,
I'm trying to make.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
And listen, one day I'll buy it when it goes down like to $70 on sale and they want to get rid of it. I'll pick it up.
get rid of it. I don't know if it. You realize this is Nintendo, Dan. They never put their things on sale.
Well, I mean, Labo went on sale. That's a Nintendo thing, right?
Sure. Yeah, it did.
There was a fire sale at Target trying to get rid of them. They went down from 80 to 30 to 20, right? They're just trying to get fire sale. Right. You know, look, I would get the Luigi one because that's the one that no one has, right? Because everybody's gonna have Mario.
Well, the only difference between the two, I think, is that it just shows, like, the box is exactly the same except for Luigi is featured, right, instead of the Mario Kart. Otherwise, it's the exact same kit. But yeah, I mean, but no one bought the Luigi. I hear you. Yeah, right. That's true. You may have more of a collector's item on your hands if you get the Luigi model, because you're gonna get the Mario Kart as well. Like, I'm gonna go back and I should have just bought the Luigi Kart that day. Right? Should have just been like, all right, I'll get both. But yeah, man. Right. You know, it's fun so far.
All right, but I got big news. I had a phenomenal weekend. I had to work because it's the end of the month, and in my 9 to 5, my day job. This is gonna be a really, really busy week, and the weekend definitely had to catch up on some work. Mm-hmm. But all of that's irrelevant because I'm the happiest man at Rated G because I secured my PS5. I did it. I did it.
Nice. Welcome to the current generation.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
So while all the suckers were out there trying to get it from Walmart and Target, which had it the same day,
right?
And everyone was trying to buy it, and it was sold, and you couldn't get through, just like normal, right? You go to Walmart and it crashes.
Oh yeah.
I went to GameStop.
You did the other round.
I went to GameStop because they had it too, and I bought the bundle this time. Remember, I could have bought the bundle the day one at midnight.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll wait. And that was a mistake. Well, I admit that now.
I wouldn't fault you for saying maybe not $800.
Yeah, well, you know what? I spent the $800. I ended up spending $800 on the PS5.
Yeah.
However, I got $800 worth of stuff. I did not pay someone $300 to $400 profit.
Right. So, you didn't pay the eBay premium or the offer up premium. Yeah.
No. So I got the bundle. I secured it. It's not going to be shipped until like President's Day, so I'll have it at some point at the end of February.
Hey, there you go.
Right. Hopefully UPS doesn't steal it. That was the whole big problem a couple of months ago, right?
I know.
Speaking
of which,
I'm just gonna say, how would they know to steal it, right? Like it should be a nondescript box.
Well, they know what the shape of it looks like, though, right? Like they know what a PS5 shaped box would look like.
Well, yeah, but don't put PlayStation on the box, right? It's a brown box. It's just a regular brown box. Just don't put any advertising.
No, of course, but you could guess by the shape of the box. Hey, and also the weight of the box.
Okay. Listen, it's a brown box.
Okay?
Yeah, it's a brown box. There are several people ship several things in the same stupid size brown box.
Sure.
How would they know it's a PlayStation 5? The shape, the fill, and the big sign that says PlayStation on the box. The brown box of all things, right? Not the actual PlayStation box that's inside. The brown shipping box.
Right.
Does it need to listen, let's act like when we act like it's, we're getting Rated G nights. Let's act like it's something that you ordered late night on the internet that you
your subscription to Playboy, right? You don't want anybody to see that you're getting new issues coming in, right? That's why they have it in the protective wrapping, right? The kind of
that's what they should do with these.
That's what they do. I don't think anybody's shipping it like straight up just PS4 around the outside.
No, but it has PlayStation on the outside, and when you do that, people know this could be a PlayStation 5 because it says PlayStation on the box.
I know.
So that's the only thing I'm saying. But I am super happy. I have the PlayStation 5. I got Demon Souls, a game I didn't really want, but it's a game I didn't have. So all the other bundles were games I already own for the PS4 or the Xbox One.
Right.
So
right.
I got Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Day One edition, because it comes with it comes with the first Spider-Man game too, right? Remastered for next gen or current gen now. I got the warranty. I got the GameStop warranty. So if anything happens to my PlayStation in 2 years, I have the warranty on it.
Honestly, that's not bad. Hopefully you don't, but you may end up using that. All right.
I have an extra controller. Right. I have an extra controller, and it comes with a $20 GameStop gift card that you can only use online. So I'm only able to use it if I buy games on GameStop.com. Right. Which is kind of stupid. Just give me a gift card and I can use it anywhere. Give it to someone. I could have gave it out on the show, right?
Yeah, right. I don't know why they restrict that to online only. I don't know what that's about.
I guess the thing is, my fear is I don't think because this is a GameStop bundle and not a Sony bundle, right? That these things can be shipped separately, right? So I may get the console before I get the games, or I may get the games before I get the console.
Oh, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. GameStop does do some weird things. So hopefully it all comes together. Like you would assume any sane person would say, okay, here's a bundle, put it all in one box, and then ship it out. All right? Because if you get any one of those things separately, it's unusable, right? You need at least two. You need a game and the system, right? To be able. Well, all right. You do get the pack in Astro Playland or whatever, right? So you could play that, but if you got an Xbox, that wouldn't work, right? There is no built-in games, right? You just have the system and then nothing to play in it. Yeah, it's a little weird. All
right, so nothing can ruin my mood. Okay, finally now I'm on the chase for an Xbox.
Yeah, you'll get one.
I'm on the chase for an Xbox. I may have to spend $700. I actually could have got one. They had bundles for Xboxes too, but I went for the PlayStation first, and then when I went back for the Xbox, it was sold out. So I'm doing this show on cloud nine, baby. I am super happy. So, all right. With that said, let's on with the show. We have a great show this week. We're going to talk about the Resident Evil Village Showcase that happened the other day. And we're going to talk about Xbox Live with gold prices going up and then going right back down. But let's begin with PlayStation Custom Plate Maker. They're back. Remember, we had two different companies, right? There was a company that was like Plate Station.
I remember Plate Station.
Where you can order custom plates. You could pre-order custom plates before the PlayStation 5 came out. And then recently we had another company that had custom PlayStation plates, and they dared Sony to sue them, right? And it's like, we dare you to sue us because we have the right to sell it. But I think they do have the right to sell it. But I think the issue really came in that like Plate Station, right? It was too close to PlayStation.com, right?
That's
PlateStation.com.
That's 100% fair, because I thought the whole thing was, well, we want to sell our own plates, and we're gonna put a kibosh on this because you're cutting into our accessory revenue. But I think what you're saying makes more sense. It sounds way too much like PlayStation.
Yeah, and look, I guess you do have the right. You just can't put the PlayStation logo on it, right?
No.
Right? It can't have the logo. It could just be the same shell. You just can't brand it as PlayStation 5.
Right. And I think you can put whatever graphics you want on there, as long as it's not copyrighted.
And I think that's what they did. Like that was another issue, right? If you put PlayStation 5 or the logo on there, then people think it's automatically licensed through them, and it's not. Which you would have to. So
right.
I'm in no way, shape, or form buying any custom plates. I don't want to mess with it. I mean, maybe I will later, but as of right now, I'm just happy to have the PlayStation 5 coming. So I want to have it in its humongous glory.
Yeah, it's a big chonkin' boy. Let me tell you, like
it's a big boy.
It ain't small. It ain't small.
But this is the last episode of January, and so you know what we do every at the end of every month. We talk about the notable games coming out next month.
That's right. What do we got?
So it's the start of Christmas 2, as Dave always likes to say.
That's right.
And if you have a PlayStation 5, if you were one of the lucky ones to get PlayStation 5, you'll be able to get the Neo collection, right? Coming out February 5th. When the Neo 1 remastered is also coming out, I think the day before that. But you want the collection, right? You want to have both games all at once, and that's coming out for the PS5. And it's definitely going to be a physical edition because it's advertised on every GameStop. I've been going to it for the last couple of weeks.
Right.
A game I'm actually looking forward to that's coming out PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, not Stadia. I mean, this is where I'm saying Stadia needs to step up its game, right? Because if it's coming out on the Switch and PS4 and Xbox and PC, there's no reason why it shouldn't be coming out on Stadia as well, right? Like I think that's the problem Stadia is having.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, yeah. I mean, that's 100% true. I don't think this game is going to be taxing anybody's computers, so I would say it's a little less. I mean, yeah, you want to have as many games as possible on your service, right? But I think something more like Doom Eternal or Cyberpunk, right, where it's like, well, you may not have the resources for your computer, so I'm gonna get the Stadia version because I just need to have a screen, a controller, and an internet connection technically to be able to play this. So
yeah, but coming out February 11th, Little Nightmares 2, right? Like it's sort of like a side-scrolling puzzle platformer. I liked Little Nightmares 1. I have the special edition for the Xbox. I was thinking about maybe getting this for the Switch.
Yeah,
this is something where this would be perfect on Stadia. So listen, Stadia needs the Cyberpunks, the Doom Eternals.
You need the big games,
the Red Dead Redemptions, but it also needs the smaller games.
You gotta have variety. Yeah,
you gotta have the Little Nightmares 2 come out day and date on Stadia, like it's coming out on other platforms.
Right. So how was the? I just have a quick question. How was the load times on Xbox? Because I know the Switch version had terrible load times.
Oh, for Little Nightmares?
Yeah.
The original? I don't remember. I'll be honest. Okay. I don't think it was bad because I think I would have mentioned it on the show.
Right. Yeah, because it has a lot of horsepower. The Xbox, even if it's the original Xbox One, still has a hell of a ton of horsepower. So
yeah,
I would assume it'd be okay.
I don't think it was egregious at all because it's. I would have remembered that from the original.
Right. Okay.
And to be honest, I'm looking forward to playing the sequel. And if it was bad on the original Xbox One, I would have said, hopefully they would have fixed the load times in the second one.
Right.
But that's nowhere near my mind. So I played this on Xbox. I didn't play it on the Switch. So I didn't even know the load times were egregious.
Yeah.
So maybe you just talked me out of buying it for the Switch.
I'm not saying to not buy it for the Switch. I'm just saying maybe, read some early reviews if you can get your hands on them.
Well, a game I am buying for the Switch, guaranteed the next day, February 12th, is Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, and I'm getting the amiibos.
You mean you're not going to get it for PS4?
No, I was thinking about getting it for the PS4, but you know what? If they had it out in Stadia, I probably would have got it out in Stadia. You never know. The
Stadia version? Yeah. This is awesome. I think we talked about the direct that they had, I think, last week with the new Bowser's Fury kind of DLC that comes with it. Looks super cool with the giant cat, the big battle with Bowser. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I'm glad they're bringing it over from the Wii U.
Yes.
So a lot of people will be able to play it for the first time, and we have new DLC coming with it. So yeah, I think this is the first big game of 2021 in my eyes.
Hitman 3 didn't do it for you? That came out last week?
I haven't played the first two. I haven't played the first two after the reboot, so I should really do that.
I'm thinking I may get this for the PS5. I may get the PS5 version. I can play it I can play it with the VR, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Next, also Switch exclusive, Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, coming out February 25th.
Right. We saw this at the Game Awards, I think, with the weird art style.
We did, but we don't know if we're gonna get a physical edition, right? Like I hope this is not just going to be. I hope this is not going to be just digital. I hope they put out actual physical edition.
I feel like it's going to be digital only for the time being, or in general.
I can imagine it'll stay Switch exclusive forever, right? Like if it comes out for the Xbox or the PlayStation, then maybe they'll put out a physical edition. So, well, I mean, this is just the Switch's month, right? Like other than Neo 2, a lot of things people talk about getting it for the Switch or Switch exclusive. another Switch exclusive, the second biggest game of 2021, is Bravely Default 2, coming out February 26th.
That's right. That's right. The game that you tried to, at least the first one, you gave it the old Bravely try. And
no, I tried this one, the demo.
Oh, you did. That's right. The demo was too, and you're like, nah, not for me.
I spent 2 hours in this game trying to like it. I tried to like it. I tried to get into RPGs.
Fair enough.
And it's just not my style, man. Mm-hmm. It's not my jam. But you know what is my jam? A game that we played at PAX.
Yeah.
And it's coming out the same day as Bravely Default 2 for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, not Stadia. Big mistake. Needs to come out for Stadia. That's Retromania Wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. We get a good wrestling game because we didn't get any in 2020.
I know. Well, this is the spiritual successor to WrestleFest, right? In the arcade. It has that same vibe, right? It's got a bunch of wrestlers, maybe 12, 14 wrestlers, from all different, I think there's some AEW guys in there, right? There's some old WCW guys, if I'm not mistaken.
There's one, I think Johnny Nitro, who's he's in WWE right now. I think he's in here too, because he signed he signed a sort of a contract for his likeness
before he went to WWE, right?
Before he went back to WWE. Mm-hmm. We saw the blue beanie, right? The blue beanie at PAX, because we
did see the blue beanie. That was crazy.
So look, big Stevie Cools, Stevie Richards, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, who are both deceased. We lost Animal last year. Hawk we lost about 10 years ago.
Right.
The blue meanie, Johnny. Oh, they call him Johnny Retro.
Johnny Retro
in the game, but he's Johnny Nitro in WWE. Tommy Dreamer from ECW. Colt Cabana. He's CM Punk's, used to be CM Punk's best friend, who's in AEW right now.
They have a little bit of drama. Is that what you're telling me?
A little bit of drama a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Atlas, who was a big TNA guy, and who is the NWA champion right now. And some other guys Austin Idol, I don't know who that is in real life. But I'm looking. It looks like they're getting a limited run physical release as well.
Yep.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm 100% in getting this, and I'll get it on. I want it on a Switch.
Sure.
So you got to get it on the Switch.
Oh, of course. I mean, it played really well. It was still like mid development, but it felt good. They have all the wrestling entrances, and you can choose different rings and all that. The move set was pretty solid. It was a good old fashioned arcade wrestler, and the devs were super cool. They were happy to talk to everybody. So I mean, that's always a good thing. See a nice little indie startup put out this game that they feel passionate about. So definitely going to be picking this up.
So Dave, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Well, I obviously, because we talked about it before, I've been playing or messing around with the Mario Kart Super Circuit, right? Or the Mario Kart Circuit course? Mario Kart Circuit? Home Circuit? Mario Kart Home Circuit. Got it. First try. I'm messing around with the Mario Kart Home Circuit, which, is a game with a augmented reality component, right? So that's kind of fun. I've yet to make a track yet, but we're getting there. And then I've been playing Cadence of Hyrule finally, because I picked it up, so I have the physical of that.
How is that? I was thinking about picking up the other day, and it just didn't do it for me.
Have you played the first one?
I played a little bit of the first one. They had it remember they had a fire sale. It was like $3 or something.
Yep.
I picked it up.
Yep. Same exact game, just with a Zelda skin on top.
Okay.
And it's not to diminish anything, but if you didn't like the gameplay of Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule is not going to do it for you. All right. Unless the setting was the problem with the game. Then I would say try it out. But it is legit.
No, it was the game. It was legit the gameplay.
Yeah. It's like it's a rhythm action game where you have to move to the beat, right? It's kind of specific, but I'm about it. You really have to have the audio, because you can only move on the beat. Otherwise, it says, "Oh, you missed the beat. Oh, you missed the beat," and you have to wait for the enemies to do their animations, and they move on the beat, and sometimes they're complex and sometimes they're simple, so you have to wait till they like thrust their sword or move forward, and then you can get in like the intermediate time. But you really need the audio. I tried playing this on the subway and it just didn't fly, because you really need to hear the music, what's kind of going on, and look at all the visual indicators. Like you really got to be in the game to play it.
Gotcha.
But yeah. And then I finally got from Limited Run. I finally got the Metal Slug Anthology, which I ordered a while ago.
Ooh,
that
how
finally
is it?
came in.
I have the PS2 version. So
yeah, it is the PS2 version.
No, I'm lying. I have it for the Wii. I got the Wii version.
Okay. Well, it is legit the PS2 version, just on a PS4 disc. All the way down to when you try and save your game, it'll bring up the PS2 dialogue, and it'll ask you to save to a memory card, which is weird because you still have to do that, even though it just saves to the internal hard drive. So
I guess it's just a way. It's just a way for you to play the game on modern consoles. It's no upgrade or anything. It's not like it came out for the Xbox. Or did it come out? I don't think it came out for the Xbox. The original.
I think it may have eventually. I mean, one of them. I think maybe like 3 and 4. You can definitely get.
Well, 3 came out for the original Xbox. I have Metal Slug 3 for the original Xbox.
Right.
So 4 and 5 for the PS2. Yeah. And I have the Anthology for the Wii.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Wii version of the Anthology is probably the same as the PS2 one, just with the Wii controls as the overlay. The PS2 version wasn't that great to begin with. I remember when that came out, a lot of people had issues with it. It still has all the same slowdown as the original. There are some graphical options in the game, which you can kind of put on scan lines, and you can use the original aspect ratio, I think, or whatever. Or you can play with like some custom borders, which are just like a visual thing, but it's pretty damn vanilla, right? I mean, you get like 7 Metal Slug games, which is awesome, but I'm not looking for a full-on remake. Just remaster the damn thing, like put it in a nice package, fix some of the issues with the game from the original. Don't just port it and put it on a PS4. Even though I'm glad that I'm able to play it. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a better package. And I don't know if that's necessarily Limited Run's fault or not, because usually there's a developer involved who puts that all together, and then Limited Run will do the packaging and the coordination and all that, and you can buy this nice thing. Like what they did with Night Trap, right? Night Trap has a ton of quality of life improvements to the game, right? Which I think were kind of necessary. And you could choose all the different formats, right? You could play like the 3DX style, you play the original Sega CD style. They did a lot of little things that kind of went a long way, which I thought they were going to do with Metal Slug, but they didn't. So still fun, but there's a little bit of a caveat there. And and finally, I've been playing XCOM 2 on the PC, and I have almost run the aliens off our planet. So I'm getting to the end. My squad is strong, Dan. So how about you? What have you been playing?
All right, so I know I told you last week or 2 weeks ago I uninstalled Cyberpunk 2077 from my PlayStation, my PS4, but I had it installed on both my PS4 Slim and my PS4 Pro. So I uninstalled it from my PS4 Slim. I was going to uninstall it from my PS4 Pro, but I think there was a patch that came out, so I just wanted to check it and see how it was. And lo and behold, the game was semi-playable. And I actually played through the legit first, I'm not saying that the first mission, but the legit, the prelude, right? The prelude before you got to Keanu. And I finally got to Keanu.
Right. That's where the game really starts to open up.
That's where the game actually starts, really, right?
It's like a big tutorial. You do
there we go. I was looking for that tutorial.
Yeah, you do your character's backstory, figure out how some of the game world works, all the different mechanics, and then it opens up and you get Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah. So it's like you're playing 3 or 4 missions, which is sort of, just to get you acclimated on how to play. Mm-hmm. And then you get to, Keanu Reeves, which I finally got to him. And it worked and it didn't crash. So I didn't want to jinx it. So I just left it there.
So I'm good.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to continue. Maybe I'll keep it in and keep trying to play.
Well, you have the PS5 coming now, so you could just port your save over.
I could. Well, let's see if that actually works, right? Hopefully, there's no other bugs that they'll discover that.
Yeah, seriously, right? You would assume that, yeah, you just play it on the new system, port it over, save it in the cloud. Who knows? Who knows?
All right. And the next is something I'm I'm kind of ashamed to say, since I would consider myself and you sort of hardcore gamers.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware that the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were region free. So this whole time, I could have been buying games for at least from the UK, right? Because it's English, obviously, and been playing games that didn't come out over here. So Next Machina came from a game from Housemarque, right? The guys that made Resogun. Next Machina is sort of like a Resogun sequel, right? Kind of sequel. It's a different type of game. It's not a shoot 'em up in any way. It's sort of like Shadow Complex, right? In the Resogun universe with the same sound effects and everything. I have the UK version. UK version, which I bought a long time ago on Amazon, and I never played it because I said, "Oh, it's probably not going to work." But I really just wanted to have the game in the collection. Maybe I'll get a UK PS4. I just for some reason wanted to test it and popped it in, and it worked. And then I actually looked it up, and consoles are last generation consoles are region free. So I said, screw it. I went and bought Unraveled 1 and 2 on the Xbox because the physical edition only came out in the UK.
Right. Interesting. So, I you know what? I didn't know that either, Dan. I didn't know that either. You always assume that they're locked down to the specific region that it's in, and we don't need to get into all of that, but that's for very specific reasons. Like they do that on purpose for various reasons. I'm surprised. I'm just as surprised as you are, and that is fantastic. That is fantastic.
So I'm super happy. Next Machina, hard game. It's a hard show.
Well, it's a bullet hell, right? It's a bullet hell shooter, right?
Think it's Shadow Complex on steroids, man. It's a game. I mean, it's Resogun and Shadow Complex skin. That's what it is. Right. The game is hard. But I enjoyed myself playing it. I got through maybe like the first like 4 missions and I just tapped out because I was like, this game is tough. But I'm happy to have it in collection. I'm happy to know that these games and I looked it up. This generation as well, Generation 9, PS5 and Xbox Series X are also region free.
Yeah, so, nice.
If you see a PlayStation that's available in the UK, you can buy it.
Yeah, you got to worry about the power, though. They use a different.
Just get an adapter.
We sold them at
Circuit City.
I'm pretty sure you need a power transformer. I would not go and buy yourself a European console. It is going to be a bit of a headache. Because also the output is different. They do PAL instead of NTSC, which is a completely different. It's 50 hertz versus 60 hertz.
Just go to Best Buy.
No. Do not listen to Dan. It'll be more headache to get
Amazon.
European.
It'll be okay.
No. Don't listen to the bad advice over here.
It'll be fine. Go get yourself a German Xbox. It's fine.
Oh,
okay. You'll be fine. Listen. Take my advice or don't take my advice. You'll be fine.
No. Don't take Dan's advice. His bad advice over here.
Just go get it.
His good intentions. That's about where it begins and ends.
Just go get it. All right. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week.
This is Justin from the Lit Gaming Arena podcast, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers.
And we're back. Before we get into the top gaming news of last week, I just want to say, Dave, did you see that Kong versus Godzilla trailer? Oh my God, that looked amazing.
Yeah. I did not. But anytime you put a giant kaiju up against a giant gorilla, it's gonna be a good time.
My only trepidation is the story. I feel like it's gonna be stupid. Like, why is
it always is.
Godzilla and Kong facing off at each other?
Right.
I just feel like the story's gonna be stupid, but just the cinematics of seeing them fight in Tokyo. I think they're in Tokyo. Just looked awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Just wanted to say that. Forgot to say that before we went to break. All right, let's get this show back on the tracks. Let's begin with the Resident Evil 8/Village showcase. We finally got to see some gameplay, right? We got to see, I guess, the main villain in the game,
right?
And we got a release date. It's coming out in May, right?
Yeah.
So May 7th.
Yeah. You should be able to play the demo by I mean, it's out. The demo's out for the PS5. It's kind of more of a tech demo than anything else. Really no combat necessarily. You kind of walk around, solve a few puzzles, see some cutscenes and get hype. I don't have a PS5 and it's not out for any other consoles yet. But they do say come like spring, right, which is probably going to be like April, I guess, by that point. There should be a demo out for like all consoles where it's available on. So they
also announced that it's coming out for the PS4,
right? And the Xbox One, right?
They said that it's coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, PS4, and the Xbox One. No Stadia. Right,
yeah.
So they will make it backwards compatible with old generation, which was something that we talked about this last year, where they said it was coming out, then they backtracked and said it was only going to be for this gen, for next gen, which is this gen,
right?
And now they're saying that they're working on it coming out for last gen. So
yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, obviously they'll be taking out any sort of like ray tracing and extra fancy effects. They'll reduce the resolution a little bit to make it work on those systems. It'll probably be, I'm going to assume, capped at 30 frames a second, right? You won't get all the fanciness that you would on, current gen consoles. But the fact that they're making it work is awesome. I think that was some big news right there. So,
also, we're getting a Resident Evil Versus. So it's a multiplayer experience. So if you buy the game, if you buy Resident Evil Village, you'll be able to experience this multiplayer, free to play game.
Yeah. They're
not my cup of tea personally.
What's that?
Not my cup of tea personally.
No, but they're calling it Reverse, RE:verse, which is kind of interesting. And they're gonna bring in characters and villains from the whole entire series. So they had the father from Resident Evil 7 was in there, and Leon and Claire and Rebecca, I think was kind of like everybody's going to be in there. I think it seems like Chris Redfield, so you can kind of play as all those characters in one setting. It's kind of like what they did with I think Resident Evil 3, when that came out, had like a online multiplayer mode, right? It was a one versus many type situation, right? There was four guys and they had to survive. I think you could play as the villain if I'm not mistaken. If not, this game looks to be that, right? You can play as the villains or play as the heroes, right? I don't know if you can necessarily mix and match. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try if it's free. Right, which means there's going to be microtransactions in there. That's what that means. So,
of course it is.
Hopefully, it's not too much of a grind. Hopefully, there's enough free characters, or you can grind out to get, or unlock some of the other characters, without playing 40 hours a week. But yeah, I mean, it looked cool. It looked cool as a thing.
Well, they also announced the crossover with Ubisoft in the Division 2. Right?
I know.
So they're going to have an event between February 2nd and 15th. The only time this is going to happen. And you can earn Leon Kennedy, our, Raccoon City PD outfit.
Right. If you log on within that time, you'll get it for free. And then there's other outfits you can get as well on top of that, which I think is kind of cool. So
we'll have to get better. It would have been better if they had actual, like, we can use the characters and not just the outfit, right? If I could play as like Chris Redfield or something.
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
That would have been better.
Sure. That would be like kind of neat, right? They bring in that universe to this universe, but for sure.
But let me ask you a question. Did this event get you more hyped for Resident Evil 8?
Oh, 100%. Because we didn't know much about it other than the trailer that was going on, right? Which was kind of cryptic in what it was. And, it's still a little bit cryptic. How do the monsters work in this game? Like, what type of, because I think they're now, like, werewolf-based, maybe, versus zombie-based, which could kind of add some new things into it. But they also showed off, like, I guess, the family, right? Because there's a giant castle which you go into, and we got to see the main villain. We got to see their, or her, I guess, kids or whatever. And, it seems like there's a lot of people, a lot of villains at play in this whole situation. There's a whole family going on, which is like kind of neat. So I was kind of like hyped for that, right? It continues the story of Ethan, right? Ethan Winters from 7. He's the main protagonist, it looks like, in this game again. So yeah, man. I mean, were you hyped for this in any way? Because I know the horror scary genre is not really your jam, right? But
I'm hyped to play an hour of it and never play it again.
Yeah, so the answer is no. Okay. I understand. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I just think that 7, 8, and I think 9 that will come out obviously in a couple of years. We'll have that the trilogy, the new trilogy will have like that first person perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to get away from 6 as much as they can to more action based game, which I like. More,
sure.
I like. It should have been more of a spin-off than part of the main line.
Right.
Series.
Yeah. You could just call it like Outbreak 3 or whatever it is, and make it its own thing, but still in that universe, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then 10 will probably go back to third person perspective, maybe based on like Resident Evil 4 type of.
Oh, sure. Right? Like shake it up a little bit again. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Resident Evil 4. We think we know that we're getting all the rumors and speculation from the industry insiders say we're getting a Resident Evil 4 remake, and that's been in development, right? And surprise, I mean, no, it's like, duh, we're getting they're gonna remake all the major Resident Evils they already did, right? And 4 was the only one that's left standing. 4 and 8, I mean 4 and 6, right? They haven't done a remake of 6.
Well, they brought them all to modern consoles now, right? You can play 1 through 7 on current gen console. Well, PS4.
Well,
no,
you're right. No,
ones.
I'm bugging. I am going crazy. No, they remade 1, 2, and 3, and they sort of brought to next gen consoles 5, and 6,
and 4 too. 4 is on
4, 5, and 6.
Now I don't know how much they did to those games, like how much work they put into them. I think it was just a quick remaster, if anything. So
4. Well, I guess 4 is sort of next in line for a remake since they did 1, 2. Since they did 1, 2, and 3.
Oh sure. I do just happen to love how many times they've kind of ported, remixed, reworked Resident Evil 4, right? Because it was originally on GameCube, exclusive on GameCube, and then they're like, nah, also PS2. And then they're like, nah, also Wii with like motion controls. And then they're like, it's also going to be on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, right? They're going to put it out again, and put it out again.
Yeah, but this is going to be a remake from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in style, I mean, Resident Evil 3 people liked, but didn't like as much as 2. Maybe not as much new stuff as 2. So. And 4 is the one that people hold in high regard, right? People are nostalgic for 1 because it's the one that got it all, which got the franchise started.
Right.
But people really are nostalgic. People really, 4 is like the pinnacle. And
me included. It did a lot of really cool things. It kind of straddled the line between horror game and action game. So they gave you a little more agency. You could jump out windows. You could kind of aim over the shoulder, right? You could kind of move and dodge, and like it felt a little more like an action game without being like full on, run and gun Contra style action game. And atmosphere was great. Those like first 2 chapters, oh my God, chef's kiss. I'm sorry, like that's some of the best moments in gaming right there. Just super creepy.
Well, it looks like the game that we don't really know that's really in development is going to be under a soft reboot. So they looks like they have internal squabbles about how the game should be made, and they're going to scrap everything that's been done so far. So this is not something that's going to come out anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. No, you got to get it right. You got to get
4 right? Because it's the one that everyone holds in high regard.
That's right.
Well, speaking of companies getting things right, let's transition to Microsoft.
Oh boy,
the big hoopla, right? Like right before the weekend, the big hoopla was Microsoft is changing the pricing for Xbox Live with Gold, and it's pretty much doubling it, right? Because it's like $60 for 6 months.
Right. The $10 a month, right? Which. You compare that to like a Netflix or the whatever, you're like, maybe it's not that bad, but you didn't get anything extra for it. They're just like, we're gonna price hike it to double the price.
Well, it's not that they doubled the price. It was that they put it in line with Games Pass. So it was right there with Games Pass prices. And over the weekend, it was such a big thing that they had to backtrack on that.
Yeah.
And Phil Spencer put out a tweet or a statement on Twitter just stating that they made a mistake and they're course correcting. So all the prices for Xbox Live with Gold are staying the same as of right now. But I do think it's going to change. It may not change this year or next year, but it will change. I think they have plans to sort of integrate it all into one, right? So it's Xbox Live with Gold and Games Pass all in one.
Oh, 100%.
I think that's where they're going.
100%. Like they want you on that platform, and if they can keep you on that platform by like feeding you games from this kind of massive list, right? All the Xbox games. Well, now all the Bethesda games are going to be on there, or are on there. EA games and whatever else they can get their hands on is like, here you go. There's one price for everything because they want to be a service provider as opposed to a console maker, right? And this is their games as a service type situation. And if they can get everybody on that, they can get all those signups in GameStop, and they can get people like into the fold. Sure, but doubling the price of Xbox Live is not the way to do it.
Doubling the price without giving us anything for it is
right.
Definitely not the way to do it.
Right. Like, and if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna like increase the price and try and shift people over, you got to do it like Netflix, couple bucks here, couple bucks there, and then eventually it's like, why don't I just get Game Pass, right? Or fold it into, Games Pass, but you got to do it slow. Yeah.
It was the only way I was getting Games Pass. I'm sorry. I already have enough subscriptions. I've canceled enough subscriptions. And because movies are coming out day and date with streaming services, seemingly HBO, I may subscribe to HBO Go.
You want HBO Max.
Max.
That's the one.
HBO Max. Yeah, I don't even think HBO
Max
Go exists anymore. I think it's just I think it's just one HBO Max.
Well, HBO Now was the third one, and then they got rid of Now. I think Go is still a thing, because if you... Like, Max is for people that don't have cable, and they also have exclusive stuff on Max. If you have HBO through cable, you get the Go streaming, so that's basically all the material that's on the HBO channels themselves. But they have stuff like I don't know. I think the new Adventure Time cartoon or whatever is exclusive to HBO Max. There's a ton of stuff that's like Max exclusive. I think like Wonder Woman 84. I think you can stream that on Max. I think. So I think they still have the two. I could be wrong.
Well, I'm on HBO's website right now for how to order HBO Now, Go, or Max, and they only have Max.
Oh, maybe it is just Max then. Yeah, maybe that's it.
I think they consolidated it all into one.
Yeah,
which is what I think Xbox wants to do, or
100%.
Yeah, do eventually. 100%. So, but I'm glad they course corrected, right? I'm glad they course corrected, and they saw that gamers were not happy, especially not getting anything extra, right? You can make the argument if they added something to it, regardless if it's worth it or not. They added something. Right. They didn't. They just doubled the price for no reason.
Yeah.
And they course corrected, just like Peter Moore course corrected when the Xbox 360, the OG 360, the big white one, had the three rings of death. Right. And he said, "We got to fix it. No matter how many times it breaks, we have to fix it for free." Right. So speaking of Peter Moore, which we actually talked about Peter Moore last week.
Oh yeah, he was in the news about loot boxes, right?
He's also in the news again. Ex-president of America Xbox president of America and EA executive Peter Moore come back to the games industry to work for Unity.
Interesting turn, right? Unity being the game development platform that a lot of indie games and, you know, some slightly bigger, not quite AAA games are built on the Unity engine. And it's great because you get a bunch of stuff like out of the box. You can just kind of start building and coding and whatnot with a bunch of like assets that are kind of built into the system, right? Sound effects and, you know, some basic physics and whatever else. I haven't necessarily used it personally, but it's pretty robust for what it is. You can definitely create some cool stuff. Some of your favorite games are Unity, right? If you load up a game and you see that little 3D Unity box, right? There you go. You know, it's built on Unity. So he's going to be what? I guess the head, right?
No, he's senior vice president and general manager of sports and live entertainment for Unity.
Interesting. Sports and live entertainment. I wonder what that position entails.
That's a good question.
Right?
Definitely probably does a little bit more than what you described it to. They have other business ventures, I would assume, to that. But that with that being said, it's no surprise that he's, you know, going to be the head or general manager, so quote unquote, for sports, right? Because he's a big soccer fan.
Right. He owns a football club. Well,
he is a partial owner in a football club. Yes.
Liverpool FC CEO, former Liverpool Football Club CEO. So,
he left EA. He was he was the president of EA. He left EA to be sort of like the general manager or the president, right, of operations for a soccer club.
Yeah. So he's not that anymore either. At least he stepped down from that position.
I didn't know if he was a partial owner in a soccer club, but I never knew that. I mean, we discussed that. And I think maybe that was wrong, that he's not a partial owner, but he was always, I knew he was sort of ran the operations. Right. There was a dream job for him to run operations of a football club.
Yeah. Why would you not stick with that? That's pretty, that's a pretty cushy job.
Well, no, not really. It's a thankless job. I mean, let me equate it to the general manager of the Knicks.
Sure.
Or the general manager of the Patriots, right? Like you gotta keep looking at the college game, right? Because you want to draft. You got to keep looking at the you're creating a team. You're essentially creating a team. You're putting a team together. You got to try to get free agents. I don't know how football works in the sense, right? Overseas, I don't know because I think they buy players.
Oh yeah,
how that works. But like in America, like I'm trying to equate it for like basketball. You're trying to sign Kevin Durant in the offseason, right? You're trying to trade for James Harden, and you're trying to make sure you still have draft picks, and you have a coach that's coaching a team and the staff in a team, and you have good facilities. Like that's what he's doing.
Yeah, right? that'd be awesome. Like you're not getting any
job that no one stays in that job forever because eventually you're gonna be bad. Right, Kevin Durant's going to get old.
Well, James sure, you got to have a good sense. You got to have a good sense for it, right? You didn't get there by not having good basketball sense or soccer sense or whatever, right? Like the sport, the players. You got to do the research. I'm not saying it's easy work, but the subject matter is pretty cool.
No one stays in that job for 20 years.
Right. You're
there. You're there maybe a decade if you're lucky.
Right. If you make all the right moves.
Yes, and at some point you're going to be bad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you're going to be bad, and then you're going to get the blame for that, and then somebody new is going to come in and want to put their stamp on a team.
Right.
So
true.
He's back in the games industry, and that just means anything that uses Unity is probably going to have microtransactions. According, I mean, he thinks it's like trading cards.
I know.
Okay.
I know, right? Yeah. We've been kind of doing it since the 1940s. It's okay. We've been marketing to kids, selling them loot boxes. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's okay. No big deal. But something that's a big deal is Joy-Con drift. I haven't experienced it myself, but a lot of people have experienced it. Nintendo's been in the news, all of 2020 regarding, class action lawsuits against them regarding that. And I think they've settled a lot of those things. But they're back in the news again, and Nintendo is now facing more trouble in Canada, US, and across Europe, all for Switch Joy-Con drift. It's the thing that never goes away. That they're gonna have to figure out how to fix it or how to prevent it from happening, and then just fix everybody's console for free, just like Xbox and Peter Moore, as we just discussed, did with the original Xbox 360s with the three rings of death.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, for it to be so pervasive, they had to have known about it. All right, they had to have known about it and said, you know what, it'll be fine. We're not going to get sued. It's not really that big of an issue. But every time it comes up, right, Nintendo has to settle or whatever, and like, okay, fine, we'll go ahead. If you have problems, send them in, we'll fix them, right? They can never admit that, yes, there's Joy-Con drift, but they're basically beholden to fix any Joy-Con drift problems, and it's kind of biting them right now. All right, this is now the third or fourth lawsuit, right? Happened with the OG one, happened with the Lite version, which, we thought, oh, well, the Joy-Cons are built in, it should be fine, but they also had the drift problem, right? So, yeah, it's not great. It's not great for Nintendo, but.
Well, let's not. Xbox, Microsoft is going through something similar, right? Sort of their own, elite controller drift, as I can say, right? It's just, maybe it's not as prevalent, right? Because it's something that Nintendo has been facing all across the world, where Xbox seems to be, sort of not widespread. So that's why it's not in the news as much.
Right. It's just that one controller versus like all of their line of controllers. Yeah.
Correct. All right, let's shift gears to Sony. Right, Sony. I got a PS5. I can't wait to see what they're going to do this generation. They opened up, while Microsoft is buying studios to make it under the Xbox Studio umbrella.
Yeah.
Sony created a new one. They just created one. Sony San Diego Studios. Right, and they actually, the job listing sort of teased that they're going to be making a game for an existing Sony franchise, and everybody's speculating that it's going to be the next Uncharted game, right? Because Naughty Dog, they usually do, a trilogy.
Yeah, and then they're out.
They usually do a trilogy and squeak in a fourth game, right? Like they did Crash Bandicoot with 3, and they did Crash Team Racing as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Sony manages to work its magic and squeak out a little bit more from Naughty Dog, which is awesome. But
they got Uncharted. They got the 4 Uncharted games. They got 2 on Last of Us games. There's a side note too to this story that Neil Druckmann actually posted a job listing for a new unannounced game for Naughty Dog as well. So they're working on something. I don't think it's. I know they're working on The Last of Us Part 3. Right, that's probably like further down the line, but I think they're working on another game, probably a new IP that they want to put out this generation too. Just like after they finished Uncharted 2, they were working on The Last of Us and Uncharted 3 at the same time, and then similarly for PlayStation 4, they were working on The Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted 4, which Uncharted 4 came out before The Last of Us Part 2. So I can see this. I don't know how I feel an Uncharted game from unproven studio with, I'm sure if they're going to start a studio, they put in top level talent here, right?
Well,
like this is a studio from scratch. So you're going to put some top level talent. My question is, well, I guess for me, my question is, how do I feel about them making if it's true of how to make an Uncharted game? I just hope it's not with Nathan Drake. Don't
spoil anything because I haven't beaten 4, but I don't think they can do another game with Nathan Drake. Is that fair to say? Unless it's like a prequel?
They can. Don't get me wrong, they can.
Well, they can do whatever they want, sure. They can just reboot the whole thing. Yeah.
They can reboot the whole thing. I don't think they would. I think people would riot in the streets if they did.
Yeah, you have to treat the source material with, its proper care. Yeah.
They could use Nathan Drake. I'm not saying they can't. I just think it was a fitting end to Nathan Drake's journey in Uncharted 4. right? But every Halo game has a Master Chief, right? Like no one's saying, retire Master Chief and do a Halo game without him. So I would like to see something different and a different character, sort of in that world, and Nathan Drake can make a special guest appearance, I guess, but not be the main protagonist.
Right.
I'm excited if they're hiring. It's for an existing franchise. This is probably a game that's not going to happen for another 4 years if they're still looking to hire people for it.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, yeah. Especially with kind of the way fans regard the Uncharted series and, the level of detail, from the 5 games in the series, right? Golden Abyss, I guess you could throw in there. And I guess the little kind of add-on to, what was the one that came out after 4 with the...
yes. I have it right there on my tongue. I can't even say it, but
right.
It was... I like that game too.
Right, that one. So, I mean, there were, like, that wasn't done by Naughty Dog, right?
I think it was done by Naughty Dog.
Oh, okay. Sony squeaked another one out of them.
It was sort of like a side adventure, right? Like
right. It was kind of like DLC for 4 in a way.
Lost Legacy, the Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog did that too. So I guess they squeaked out 5.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do it right. I'm curious to see where they take the adventure. Because I guess kind of the template is you're an Indiana Jones / Lara Croft type adventurer, right? That goes and finds all these like ancient relics and, gets in this big war and, there's some gun gameplay and, there's some puzzles to solve, some exploration. Everything looks beautiful, ties it up with a really interesting story. Like, yeah, I'm in. And I'm with you. Like, they could totally put out a stinker if it's, Uncharted 5 and they just totally missed the mark on it. Like that could happen.
Don't number it.
No.
Don't number it. No. Unless Nathan Drake is a part of it, don't number it. Make it its own thing as a soft reboot. Right? That's what I want.
Okay.
But the movie, actually, funny enough, the Uncharted movie has been delayed until 2022.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
It was supposed to come out this year, but it's been all movies, all big movies. It looks like it's been pushed back and delayed.
I know.
So,
well, the zombie apocalypse is a beast. Let me tell you.
It is. But lastly, my last story. Let's get into GameStop. Man, looks like their stocks have surged to record high. Wow, we thought this was the end of GameStop, but their stocks have surged. I should have brought stock. I should have brought some GameStop stock.
Well, yeah, you should have. But you would have had to have been a day trader to even see this coming because it happened within like a couple days if even. Like if you look at the stock prices, they were down at like, I don't know, 10 to 20 bucks if even, and now they're like at 60, 70 bucks a share. And listen, I don't know anything about stock prices. GameStop is still not doing well. This is apropos of nothing that GameStop did in terms of their moves and in terms of hiring, the head of Chewy or getting Reggie on board or anything like that. Like they're still, or Microsoft like coming in to help them out. Like those plans are still being worked on and they haven't necessarily rolled out, nor have they increased the price of the stock all that much. This was a bunch of Wall Street Bets kids, right? The people that follow Wall Street Bets on Reddit, and they're reckless and they just make all these like crazy bets with their heart and not with their head. And somebody had the bright idea because I think people were selling off all their shares, right, and tanking the stock. They were short selling it, I think is what it's called. And the other side of the coin, all these Wall Street Bet kids were picking up the stock at the super cheap price and then thus like raising up the price, right? And I don't know, there's like a lot of nuance to the people who are trying to like short sell it. They have to like cover the bets for the people. Like I don't necessarily know all the details, but their stock price going up super high is just some crazy kids on the internet trying to game the system. So this will not last long. All right. So much so that I think they were running out of actual stock shares, right? You can only have so many shares of stock to go around before you have to say, we're going to make more stocks. And then that kind of brings down the value of all the stock prices, right? You have 100,000 shares, and then you're like, oh, we want to print some more shares. It's okay, great. You print out another 100,000 shares, and the value of the current shares goes down because now there's 200,000 shares, so they're worth a little bit less, but there's more to buy. So again, I could be talking out my ass about this, but the thing that I do know is that GameStop is not doing well. Like the market price for the stock right now, I think, is like $60 or $70. It is not a company that is on the rise at the moment. So
listen, I saved GameStop last week. I told them what they needed to do.
We did. Yeah, we did.
All right. They obviously haven't implemented the Microsoft partnership yet, right? Because I don't see employees walking around with I almost said iPads. With
the Surfaces. Yeah. The little tablets.
Yeah. And every time I go to GameStop, they're searching in their system, and then they have to look in the drawers, and they have to go in the back and look at the stock. Their inventory system, their infrastructure still sucks.
Oh yeah.
I guess it's something that's it's still a work in progress. Right?
Yeah, 100%. They have to be able to put things on the shelf that they have in stock.
Yeah,
that's step one. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I gave some bad advice earlier, so I'm gonna give some bad advice now. Get some GameStop stock.
Oh my God, no.
Just do it. Just do it. I'm in a good mood. Just do everything. Buy a PlayStation from Germany and invest in GameStop. Do it all.
It's currently at 65.01 at the close of the bell on the 22nd, right? Which I think was Friday. Up $21.98 per share. That's a 50% increase, right? It is not going to hold. Do not buy. All right. There is your opposite advice. I would not buy.
Just buy 2 shares.
Oh my God. And then have it all go away when it gets back down to like $5 a share.
There you go.
Well, on that note, I think that's going to put episode 254 in the books. And man, it has been a very fun episode to do, I have to say. And we want to thank you guys for doing all the wonderful stuff that you guys do. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance, so check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So please listen, like, rate, review, buy some GameStop shares, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.